stating otherwise, assume that Mr. Isaac will hold the review session in here May 2nd, that's the day before the final, 5 to 7 p.m. Like the other review sessions, he'll just be here to answer all the questions you have. Anything else I need to talk about for the class? Mr. Nick Thompson, can you stand up for just a minute? And Muscle Man, can you come in for a second? And you know what he's doing right here. He's calling you out. He's dissing in your territory. You need to show him who you're a Muscle Man. I'm not fighting him. Oh!
Why is this even a thing?
Don't let us down.
Laps on the first
Go!
I need a water break.
Don't give up.
Don't have it in me.
It's here now. All you have to do is give up. Oh! It's Muscle Man! But you got to give him credit. He did a lot better than I did. Thank you, Nick. Show up without a shirt again. That don't happen. Okay, now, due to my personal inadequacies and incompetence, we're going to have the TA give a very good lecture on behavioral economics, which at the end he'll tell you the question from the material that will be on the exam. Okay, Chris, all yours.
All right, first things first. I have a spray bottle. And the reason I have this is because I've been told by multiple people in this class that I talk with my hands. And I do. I know it's knowing you, knowing me, that I literally have no control over my hands when I talk. So, I'm going to try not to do that. But, if I start to talk too much, someone can grab the spray bottle and spray me in the face with a water bottle. Like immersion therapy, if you will. Okay, so I had a plan to wear this really special shirt that I bought online through Economics. This was a shirt. It's got it says economists do with models. And a silhouette of a model. It's a graph. The reason I wanted to buy this is because economics has been described as the study of models. Like man model, business cycle model, stock model, super model, even male super model. You don't discriminate on price. So naturally, I wanted the shirt, but I didn't buy it today, so I thought I'd show it off. Today I'm going to be talking about behavioral economics. Behavioral economics is the study of the effects of social, cognitive, whatever. This is the technical definition. I don't really like it. What I want you guys to do is think of behavioral economics as a study of social and individual psychology and how that affects economic decisions. In traditional economic theory, we have stuff like supply and demand elasticity, and those were developed under the assumption that consumers, you and I, make rational decisions. The decision that consumers follow traditional theory. But that doesn't always hold true. Consumers tend to make what's called rationalist decisions that go against economic theory. And this is when behavioral economics comes in. One of the biggest examples of this is in 2008 when the housing bubble burst in the financial crisis. This was caused by people making irrational decisions. Everybody thought that houses were worth a lot of money, they put a lot of value on houses, to the point where psychologically they thought houses were worth more than what they actually were. And the bubble burst and the financial crisis happened. That's a big example. Two terms we're talking about today is herding and anchoring. A couple days ago we talked about herding a little bit, but what herding is a term that describes how individuals in a group act together without planning it out. And what this means, you guys have to write this down. You guys write anything down until you're in. And what this means is that individuals make decisions based on a group. You can see this every single day. Say you're walking across campus, going to class, and you see a group of people. You want to know what they're doing. Your first inclination is to wonder why there's a group of people and what they're doing. So you go out of your way to figure out what it is. So that's what herding is. One of the biggest examples I think of herding is YouTube. YouTube is a place where people can upload videos. Some don't do very well, some get very popular. Gangnam Style is the most popular video on YouTube with 1.6 trillion views. Yesterday, probably way more than that. This is, it makes sense why this is popular. It's a catchy video, it's a good song, it's kind of funny. But the reason that number is so huge is because of its inherent popularity. The more popular it got, the more people wanted to figure out what was so amazing about it. They had no idea what it was. Most people have no idea who Psy was or who that is. But they watched the video because it was so popular. This makes sense. Second most popular video on YouTube is Justin Bieber's Baby. Baby, oh baby. This has almost 900 million views. And this makes absolutely no sense because there's no way 900 million people enjoy his music that much. But he has that many views. Not necessarily because he's a video or he's a good artist, but because of the popularity. The more popular it gets, the more people want to find out why it's so popular, so they go watch it. Not really logical decision making. Decision making based on a crowd and what the group is doing. Next term is anchoring. Anchoring is the common human tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information offered in the internet. What that means is, in terms of buying and goods and services, consumers will make decisions on what to pay based on something in the past, on some landmark decision that happened in the past. For example, muscle man. What is your name in that?
Trey.
Trey? Okay, so, muscle man. If I was to ask you what you would pay for a bottle of steroids, what would you say?
I don't do steroids.
You don't do steroids? Well, I just do it in my head.
I would pay $10.
$10, okay. But you haven't paid for steroids before. So, sleeveless shirts. What would you pay for a sleeveless shirt if I was going to offer you one today? Just a price, what would you say?
I would pay $15.
Why $15?
Because I like it more than the regular shirt.
Have you paid $15 for a shirt in the past? Yeah. Okay. So, he said $15. That was his first inclination because at some point in the past, he paid $15 for a shirt. And that one decision influenced every decision he makes on buying a shirt in the future. If he goes to the store and he sees a shirt that he likes, it's less than $15, he's going to think, oh, that's a really good deal. It's less than what I'm used to paying. But if he sees a shirt that is more than $15, he may not want to buy it as much because it goes against his anger, his landmark decision of $15 what he paid in cash. So that's anger. Starbucks, I think, is one of the greatest examples of a company that utilizes behavioral economics to be successful. When you think about Starbucks, it's just coffee. It's a place to go get coffee. The most notorious thing about Starbucks is that it's expensive. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Why is this the most popular place in the world to get coffee when it's way more expensive than anything else? this is a very simple demand for coffee. It's something we did in class. We learned about elasticities. And elasticities, or sensitivity to price, says that if you are elastic or inelastic for a good, that's going to affect how you buy it if the price changes. So we're going to assume that coffee is relatively elastic, meaning that people are pretty sensitive to the price of coffee. So if it goes up, based on economic theory, the price of coffee goes up, you know, the quantity of demand is going to go down. This doesn't really happen though. Starbucks coffee is way more expensive than its competitors. It's more expensive than Dunkin' Donuts, or McDonald's, or coffee you can buy at Walmart and make it your home. There are a lot of substitutes for coffee that are cheaper than Starbucks. But for some reason, people go to Starbucks and they pay a lot of money for coffee. How many people go to Starbucks and buy coffee from there? People being honest? In terms of economics, if you go to Starbucks and you buy coffee, you're an idiot. You are being swindled and tricked out of your money by Starbucks because you can go somewhere else and get coffee.
You can't make it like Starbucks makes it.
Okay.
I've had several coffee machines. You can't make it like Starbucks.
Okay, you say that Starbucks is coffee, but Nicole, do you like Starbucks coffee? No. What would you say is better than Starbucks? African better than Starbucks.
Never had that.
Never had. And see this is the thing. It's not so black and white as this graphic says that the price of coffee goes up, people are going to buy less. There are other things go into it: taste preferences, psychology, but more specifically, the success of Starbucks is attributed to herding and anchoring. So let's take a hypothetical situation. Let's say we're back in the 1970s, Starbucks was established. You're a coffee drinker. You've never heard of Starbucks. Let's say you get your coffee from Walmart. You make it at home. You buy same Folgers for $10. You can make coffee at your home. And one day you're going to work and you see the building pop up. You see Starbucks coffee. Obviously it's a coffee shop. And you see the Starbucks logo. You see green awning. You see the brick architecture. You see a patio out front. And you see big windows. Big windows are a lot of businesses use windows in their storefronts so that you can see into the business. They want you to look in and see other people inside and other people patronizing the business. So hypothetical situation, you're going to work, you see this building pop up, you see the coffee house, you don't really think anything of it because you already have your cup of coffee. You bought it from Walmart, you don't really need some new place to get coffee. So you don't really think anything of it. The next day, you see a couple more people in there. Again, not really a big deal, just a few people. So you go on your way, don't even think anything of it. Next day, a couple more people. So again, nothing too earth-shattering. You have your coffee, you don't need anything else. Next day, a couple more people. And one day, you see that the entire store is crowded. There's a bunch of people in there. And your natural inclination is to wonder, why are there so many people in Starbucks? Why are there so many people going there to get your coffee? And at that moment, you make the decision to go to Starbucks and try their coffee. Not because you know anything about the product, not because you know that it's better or worse than anything else, but because you see a huge group of people inside buying their coffee. You go in there, and the first thing you notice is what? You smell the aroma of coffee, you hear their relaxing music, you see the furniture. It seems like a very relaxing place to be, a good place to hang out, a very welcoming place. And you go up to the counter and you see instead of seeing small, medium, large sizes, you see tall, grande, and venti. This makes it feel very authentic. A real Italian coffee shop. And that stuff, plays a major role. Plays a role in the psychology of your decision. So you look at the prices and you notice that they're more expensive than where you used to. Very expensive cup of coffee. But at this point, based on herding, based on the fact that other people were there, shopping there, a lot of people, you've already made the decision to buy the coffee. Just to try it out. No matter what the price is, no matter, nothing else based on one decision. So you buy the cup of coffee. You try it, it's nothing that amazing. Maybe it's the best cup of coffee you've ever had, maybe it's decent, maybe it's okay. You try it, you're satisfied. The next day, you wake up, and you're wondering, where am I going to go to get my coffee? You think to yourself, I can make orders at home, or I can go to Starbucks. I went to Starbucks. I liked the atmosphere. It was very welcoming. I enjoyed being there, and it was a good cup of coffee. So you make the decision to go there again. You want a cup of coffee? You don't mind paying a higher price because the whole package that Starbucks has to offer is a good experience. It's not just coffee, it's the experience of going there and being in the atmosphere and hanging out with your friends, just a full package. So what happens is the next day you do the same thing. You decide to go there and buy coffee again. And the more and more you do this, something very interesting happens. The more and more you go to someplace else, the anchor for your coffee begins to shift. Before Starbucks, your anchor for coffee was what you went to Walmart and paid for. The price you put on coffee psychologically was whatever you were paying before. But all of a sudden, you start going to Starbucks, and you like it. And so all of a sudden, your anchor shifts from what it was before to Starbucks. And this is a very hard thing to do. There's a reason it's called anchoring, because it's a very solid, established idea. What you're willing to pay for something is very hard to change. The price of a t-shirt is $15. It's going to be very hard for him to start paying more for a t-shirt. It's going to be very hard for him to psychologically say, okay, I like this t-shirt more, I'm going to start consistently paying more for it. But Starbucks was able to do this. When a company enters a market, generally, when they want to be successful, they find some way to innovate. Innovating their product or innovating their service. Coffee, there isn't really a lot of innovation, or brief innovation. Coffee is coffee. Cappuccinos, frappuccinos, whatever. There's not a lot of innovation being made. And Starbucks knew this. So they use the atmosphere, and they use the music and the noises and the furniture and everything to grab you in and to make you come back so that your anchor will shift. And eventually, your place to get coffee is going to be Starbucks. Now, that was a hypothetical situation. Nowadays, you don't really go through that kind of process. Back when it was established, those were very important things because they were trying to take consumers away from other businesses. They had to literally make people want to forget about something that they were doing consistently, habitually, and start doing and going their business. Nowadays, it's not really necessary. Our generation of people, when we think of coffee, the first thing we think of is Starbucks. Over the decades of utilizing herding and anchoring, they were able to establish a very, very strong foothold on the market. We can kind of see that from the fact that Starbucks doesn't really advertise. If you look around and watch TV, you don't see a lot of Starbucks commercials. Dunkin' Donuts commercials, you don't really see Starbucks. You don't see Starbucks ads in the newspaper or in magazines. You don't really have to advertise because psychologically they've already established the fact that they are the place to go and get coffee. What's my time? Can I go to that really fast?
I don't know. What time is it?
Okay, all right.
I got a question.
What's that?
Well, I mean, you go to Roots and you're getting an 8-ounce cup of coffee like this for $1.75.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to Starbucks and you're getting a cup of coffee like this for $4.50. What's the difference?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's the same.
It's the same coffee, but you're paying a lot more for it. You're paying a lot more for Starbucks.
I don't know. I mean, if you're getting a cup of coffee that's 8 ounces at Roots for $2, it's not really that much different. You're getting flavors, you're getting teas, you're getting, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
The thing there is not that Starbucks is any particularly different. You have to look at it as a whole market. A couple weeks ago, we talked about business structure, monopolies, oligopolies, perfect competition. Starbucks is something that's described as perfect competition because there are a lot of other businesses or a lot of other places to get coffee, and there are a lot of substitutes. But consistently, Starbucks is more expensive. But people continue to go there. It doesn't make sense. Because if there are a lot of substitutes, and it's not, and you are relatively elastic for that good, you would think that they're not going to pay a lot more money. That's why they were successful. Because they were able to utilize psychology to go against traditional economic theory and make people make irrational decisions to do what they want to do. And go back, and you hit the back button. And that's what Starbucks was able to do. They were able to use psychology, behavioral economics, to make people make irrational decisions in the terms of traditional economics. And that is a brief insight into behavioral economics. When you think, personally, I like it a lot because when I look at decisions they make, most of the time they don't really follow traditional economic theory. In this class, we learned that supply and demand, price goes up or down, very black and white as far as decisions that are made. That doesn't really happen in the real world. And that's what behavioral economics studies, is anomalies and things that don't really make a lot of sense, but have a huge impact on the economy. And that is my electronic growth. And then you guys asked about my research, so I'll talk a little bit about that. When I talked to you guys about my research, I told you that what I wanted to do was figure out some certain factors that affect how people want to, or how people do in school and on tests. Specifically, I wanted to study confidence. I didn't tell you guys that because I didn't want to influence your decisions. Specifically, let's say that you're about to take an exam, you're very confident in how you're going to do, and so maybe you don't study as well. And because of that, maybe you don't do as well as you thought. Or you're overconfident, or you're underconfident, or you're right on the mark. That's what I was trying to find out, is if there are other psychological things that go into how students perform. And so I clicked all the data, I put it together, and I did what's called correlation. Correlation is just a relationship between two variables. It's seeing how one variable impacts another. And these were some of the variables I had. I've got hypothetical hours in exam 1 and actual exam hours. What that means is that on the survey, I asked you guys, hypothetically, what were you going to study for exam 1? You gave me. And then I asked, what are you actually going to study? And this number, 0.53, that's a significant number. That means when you said hypothetically what you were going to study, that had an impact on the actual hours you're going to study, a mathematical impact. If there's some kind of statistical or measurable impact, then generally there's some kind of real life, effect or life decision. So these were a couple of them. This one, not really significant. This one say is the difference between exam 1 scores and hypothetical exam hours exam. What this data is saying is that the higher you scored on exam 1, the less your number of hypothetical hours was. And for me, this is a good measure of confidence. Because I look at that and I say, so you scored a high, if you scored a high score on exam 1, and then your number of hypothetical hours studied for exam 2 is lower, then maybe you're feeling confident. Maybe you're feeling overly confident. There's one more. Look at this one right here. So a lot of people ask me about the letters. And I actually felt kind of bad when you guys talking about the letters, because when you came to me and talked to me, you say, oh, I felt really bad that I didn't do as well as I thought, because you had these letters and all this stuff. The way that worked is it wasn't really that personal. There was 2 letters. There was a control group, which just stated that certain facts that might affect that. I think you said that having Xbox in your room can make you do worse on anything you said less. The experimental letter 2 said that me and Dr. Norwood specifically thought that you guys were going to do better, that we believed in you. We were trying to boost your confidence. We wanted to see if there was some way that an outside influence could change how you were going to do an exam. And what we found in this number right here, 0.83. Now that is a highly significant number. And that tells me that there's a very good chance that our intervention, our letter telling you guys that we believed in you, actually had a real impact on how you did on the exam. Individually, you may not think that, maybe you didn't perform as well as you thought, but an overall study actually had some kind of impact. And that's all my research. I'm in the process of writing a paper for it to submit to a journal. If you guys want to be updated on that, you can come talk to me. I'll keep you updated on that. But I wanted to thank you guys for participating in that research. And
They come alive.
I know. It's really hot up here. I'm glad I didn't wear that jacket because I am like really, really hot. That's why you're purple.
That's the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, any questions you guys have, I'm happy to ask.
Okay, well, she said what's the difference between Roots and Starbucks? Well, I really think that there's not really like a difference, but more of you're buying the brand name, and you're pretty much telling people, hey, look, I can afford this over this other one, Roots. Obviously, Roots is a little bit less expensive, Starbucks is more expensive, and you can go around there.
It's actually a really good point. There have been studies that show that certain logos for certain companies, like Starbucks logo or even the Apple logo, trigger the same mechanism in your brain that religious symbol. The Starbucks symbol and the Apple symbol have the same psychological effect and mental effect that the cross and the Star of David has. Like you say, sometimes it's just about saying that you went to Starbucks. It's stuff like that. Everything that you guys are talking about that there's really no difference, but people still go there. That's where the psychology comes in. On paper, if you're in an economics class, you just learn that the price is higher, then coin and is going to be lower. But that's not really true when it comes to places like Starbucks. Any other questions?
Thank you, Chris. A few last comments. I want everybody to don't move, breathe, listen to me. Don't move your fingers. Just listen. I want to thank my TA for all the hard work this semester. I thank you for letting me be your instructor. It is my honor. I want you to know that no matter how much time that's between now and the next time you think of me, you always have a friend in me. You're always welcome to reach out to me. And if anybody has or ever has trouble with advising, I encourage you to come see me. If you ever want to talk about the Ag-Econ Ag Business Department, I welcome you to come see me. And I do encourage you, a lot of times when you're passing students out there in the store, students kind of want to ignore you. They don't want to engage in a conversation because they're, what are we going to talk about? I do like, you can just say hi and keep going. You won't hurt my feelings, but I do appreciate it if you say hi. You're welcome, even if you're in a completely different major, even if you go to different college, if you're ag hall, please come by and talk to me. I'd love to see you. When you do, please remember, I have so many students' faces I see in a year. I advise like over 50 students. So when you come and talk to me, be sure to tell me your name and remind me that you were a student in this class. That way I know you was my advisee and I don't have to ask that awkward question. Who are you? Again, thank you. I'll see you. Bye.